My name is Jake, and I'm one of the co-founders of CargoLabs Incorporated. CargoLabs is building geolocation tracking solutions that pay long-haul truck drivers cash to produce data for our customers upstream. Before we dive into the specifics of the CargoLabs operation, I'd like to take a few seconds to provide a general industry overview so we're all on the same page. Here's an example of the supply chain for strawberries as they move from the farm to the table in the form of every angel investor's favorite dessert. At the center sits the 3PL, or third-party logistics provider, connecting the shipper, the receiver, and the truck driver together to pump product, in this case strawberries, through the supply chain for the 3PL's customers upstream. To illustrate one of the most common yet catastrophic problems facing 3PLs today, here's a quick story from my co-founder's time working at one of the top 3PLs in the country. One day, John was working a load for one of his 3PL's customers, Giant Foods, a national grocery retailer. John's job was to find and contract a truck driver to pick up strawberries from the farm and transport them across the country to the Giant distribution warehouse. After the trucker picked up the strawberries, there was radio silence. Nobody could find the driver. It wasn't until 2 hours after the driver was supposed to be at the unloading dock that he finally arrived. And by this point, Giant was furious. Giant ultimately fired John's 3PL, costing the 3PL millions in lost customer revenue. So what was the central problem of this story? Visibility. We could not find the truck driver. Today, 3PLs are spending tens of thousands of dollars every month to manage the visibility problem with what are mostly ineffective solutions. 3PLs hire employees to make what are called check calls to check in on the status of the driver and report that back to the 3PL. However, if the driver doesn't answer the phone, this method is rendered entirely ineffective. The next line of defense is to have a truck driver download a geolocation tracking mobile app that updates the 3PL as the driver is in transit. The problem with this method is that drivers are not excited about running geolocation tracking apps for a third party. And that brings us to TrackPort, the first track and trace solution that pays drivers cash for the geolocation data they produce for our customers upstream. Every time a driver produces an update for one of the 3PLs that's paying us as a customer, we credit that driver a certain amount of cargo cash to compensate him for the data he produced in our network. We have developed an application. TrackPort Driver is our mobile app for truckers that pays drivers cash for the geolocation data we collect. Today, TrackPort Driver is available on the iOS App Store and Android Google Play Marketplace as a free download. TrackPort Console is our web app for 3PLs that connects to the TrackPort Driver generated geolocation data and renders it in an easy-to-use visualization tool accessible from the browser. We also have an automated email instant alert system we call InstAlert to alert the 3PL at critical points during the load. We are operating in a huge industry. By the year 2026, the worldwide supply chain tech spend is estimated to be around $94.9 billion. Today, TrackPort is targeting a total addressable market of $3 billion. We do have some competitors, but as mentioned before, TrackPort is the first track and trace solution that pays drivers cash to incentivize them to produce data in our network. Our management team is poised to take CargoLabs to the next level, with one exit, $3 million raised, and $1.9 billion in total acquisitions between us. We are raising $1 million by investing in a couple of new sales hires, a product manager, and a monthly TrackPort marketing budget. By year 5, we will be at $54 million in annual recurring revenue. Again, we are looking for $1 million. Here's my contact information. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you in the breakout session.